I'm giving Darren a hard time, including skipping week 0 if you're looking at our play sheet, because his beloved Vanderbilt Commodores played week 0. And I figured since their game was delayed by weather, I would delay Darren talking about that game. So
at least you didn't make me wait 2 hours. That's
Darren, I know you have some thoughts about this game. And since you are the Vanderbilt fan on this podcast, I'm going to yield the floor to the representative from, well, you're not from
Vanderbilt. No,
Tennessee.
we'll just go with from Vanderbilt, from the southeast. How's that? Is that?
Did you change residence?
Yeah. I have a P.O. box there. Yeah.
We're gonna, Darren, we're gonna need your birth certificate before we can continue.
And 2 things that verify address. Is that your current address? Well, first of all, just like we talked about last week, the thing we have to acknowledge is right now, if the season ended today, Vanderbilt would be the SEC regular season champs. I just want to point that out. They are 1-0. They are the SEC leaders in the clubhouse today. So no matter what, we have to acknowledge that. And by the way, this is for the 2nd year in a row. Just want to point that out as well.
It's a two-peat like Georgia.
Yeah, that's right. Week 1 champs, week 0 champs, 2 years in a row. Outside of that, it's like Coach Clark Lee said during his press conference, we're going to take a win. We would much rather learn from a win than from a loss. But with all of the preseason hype about the offensive line and the improvement of overall speed and athletic ability, there were some very disappointing things on the field. Hawaii straight up pushed around the front 7 or the fronts of each side of the ball at different times during the game, both offense and defense. The defensive backfield, the safeties were strong. Obviously, DeRicky Wright is the reason they won the game. His 2 interceptions were basically a 14-point turnaround. One of them kept a touchdown from having, the other one sealed the win. But the cornerbacks, I mean, all they were missing was eggs and hash browns, man. They were toast on a breakfast plate. They were just burnt the entire night without fail. The freshman Height specifically played better than the upperclassmen did, but he's a freshman. So he's going to have his issues, and that's just the way it is. But when those are your options and you're thinking about playing teams like Tennessee, Ole Miss, that's horribly scary. And it was scary beforehand, but after seeing what happened on the field, it's even scarier. All that being said, for the first time in 15 seasons or something like that, back-to-back season opening wins for Vanderbilt. I'll take it. Hopefully the things that need to be improved can be improved throughout the start process of the season. That has happened to the first 2 years under Clark Lee. So it's a win. I'll take it. But when you think about what the schedule looks like, there are some scary things that just looked rough playing Hawaii. And that gives me pause to hurt a little bit when I think about the rest of the season. Did I do that briefly enough? How was that?
Speaking of scary things, Darren, were you a little on edge during the bad weather about that scoreboard? I think that was being held up by cranes.
That was swaying in the wind. Yes, that was very scary. Unfortunately, when you have a stadium that hasn't had anything major done to it since the 60s, guess what? Or it may have been the 80s, but still. Either way, there are going to be it's not going to be a fast process, and it's going to look ugly. And it does. There's just no way around it.
It's getting done. It's good. It's progress
Right.
Construction, but it's a pain in the process. Remember Arkansas, they went through this not that long ago. And these things take time, unfortunately. And sometimes the weather doesn't cooperate.
Not everybody is Texas A&M that has the money that we'll just build a new stadium. Give us 3 months. We're good. No, not everybody has that kind of resources. So we'll just take shots at everybody tonight.
Meanwhile, where we live, we have a bridge that there was a study done in 1992 that it needed to be replaced and nothing's happened to it. So maybe we need to talk to the folks from Texas A&M.
Yeah, it's still a back burner issue. That's